I'm Kevin Jacobsen of Gold Derby here with Chris Red. And Chris, you've done so much this TV season, Saturday Night Live, Kenan, plus your new show, Bust Down. Let's just start with that, actually. Like, how did you find the time and just the energy to commit to all of this over the past year or so?
Well, I haven't slept in 2 years, Kevin.
There you go.
Yeah, it's been a lot of strategic napping going on. But yeah, I mean, Bust Down we have been working on for about 5 years, 5.5 years. It'll be six probably. I mean, that's how you know how time moves, Kevin.
Yeah.
And and uh and so I mean, when the opportunity presented itself to make it, I just had to fit it in. And it felt at the time, it felt like a good, healthy decision to line up all these shows at once, but then COVID kind of like pushed all of them together. So it was like the only way to kind of make them in time was to just do them, work each show pretty much overlapping each other, and then and back to back. I didn't realize that I was signing up for like 2 years of that, but but I've always been a workaholic, and I definitely met my match with working on these shows at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it, man. Bust Down was my baby, so you have to figure out a way to do it. You know what I mean? Like it just there was no option. It wasn't like I'm too busy. It's just like how do I make this happen? And I was fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, let's start with Bust Down. You're co-leading with Sam J, Langston Kerman, and Jack Knight. The four of you, co-created the show. Can you just speak to just the collaboration and sort of how you formed together, just as friends and as creative people too, and how you sort of devised of this show?
Yeah, I mean, we have been friends for a while. I met Jack and Langston at a Just for Laughs. I think it was like 2015 or 16 or something like that. And then Jack knew Sam, and so me and Sam did I mean, we met, but we had met one time before in passing, but we had met for real at this festival in Palm Beach, this jazz festival. And we kicked about a pool and just got really cool after that. And so we had all kind of like became friends, and we were in this group chat for a really long time. And we always liked each other and talked every day, basically. And then I finished this movie Pop Star, and I got called in by this guy named Guy to to develop this show, this friend show about four friends. And he was like, "Yo, do you have three other friends?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got three other friends that are also funny." And so I brought the show back to them so we can make our own version of it. Now the show is ass. It was really bad. The show is about like four guys who break up with their girlfriends at the same time so they can reclaim their lives or some corny shit. And so obviously my friends didn't want to do that. I didn't even want to do it, but I thought it was a good us getting into development together would be a good way for us to kind of like start working together and figure out how we want to make, like what we want to make and how we want to make it. And I had never developed TV before like that. So we had all like, and we were all like kind of jumping in, trying to figure it out. And it was hard at first. And the first couple scripts we wrote were bad because we were all like trying to rewrite this one show. But then we were like, you know what, fuck that vision. Let's just write our own thing. And between 5.5 years of like no's and us going and off and doing our own things and learning all these skills and coming back and applying it to our focus over the course of that time, we were able to like, I mean, this show's seen 1,000 lives. It's died like 4 times and then came back to life because somebody else grabbed it up, and when we got a chance to make it, we're like, okay, we knew exactly how we were gonna do it because we had all made TV for years at this point. So so all the no's were kind of beneficial to us because we were able to learn a bunch of things to make our show really good to us. And I think we pulled it off, and because we didn't really have that much money. So we really pulled it off. And
I think so. Yeah. And
we're
you touch on some interesting subjects, like just in the pilot where your character is realizing that he was actually molested when he was younger and maybe he didn't even know that at the time, or like later on with him having like this pattern of dating homeless women. And it's just really just like very creative
Different episodes,
plot
y'all.
lines.
It's
Yeah,
two
yeah.
different episodes. We don't stack it all up.
Right, exactly. No, that's not all thrown in right at once, uh, but it's always like this great like sort of irreverent sense of humor about it, even if it is touching on maybe more serious subject matter. I would
Yeah.
love to just know how an episode kind of comes together and just how you find the balance of knowing how to approach whatever subject you're tackling.
Arguments, man, arguments and debates. It always starts from a core argument of like of a subject matter of some kind. Like take your molested thing. That all stems from like stuff that's either happened to us, been in our lives, or like something we've seen closely, and then we all have four takes on it. All of us kind of like write comedically. We all kind of write like we write like some tough subjects that we make light of. I know. I mean, if you watch any of our comedy separately, like you can see that pretty quickly. We don't shy away from any topic. Like, but with that specific topic, that was stemmed from me in a conversation. We were just talking randomly, and I was like, I hooked up with my babysitter when I was younger, and I was saying I feel like a player, and every single one of them were like, nah, nigga, that's wrong. And I was like, nah, it's not wrong. I'm a player, dog. I was a young cat, and she was older. And I was, what I'm saying? She's like, and they're like, nah, that's an issue. And we went back and forth all night. And my ego would not let me see that it was a problem to the end of the night. And I was like, damn, I guess I was, huh? And so we thought that it would be a cool thing because we all know people like that, you know what I mean? And we all like have been in that, not in that specific situation. We all haven't been, but like we all know somebody who thinks like that, and it just felt like it was a strong thing to like start with, and we want to make a comedy that wasn't like anything else, and I think we did that for better or worse, for better for me,
So, yeah.
worse depending on what you like,
Yeah. Very, very underrated. I definitely recommend for people who haven't seen it. Moving on to Kenan, actually, for the second season, you're back as Kenan's brother / manager, Gary, of course. I actually wanted to touch on the second to last episode of the season, where it's Kenan and Gary, they're going back to their childhood home and looking back on the past and growing up, and sort of seeing how Gary really idolized his brother from a very early age. And you show some good dramatic chops there, I would say.
Thank you, player.
Yeah. So, yeah. Could you talk about maybe just exploring sort of the origin of that bond that those two have?
I know that the writers, Kenny and Lisa, where they really wanted to have like an emotional moment for Gary, which was really important to me as we were talking about the second season, and like giving more layers to, because I love playing a confident idiot. I love it. It's my thing. And I'll play a version of that probably for a long time, but like giving it some layers is always great. And I knew that we were all coming back, and we were gonna like the show was gonna take advantage of his characters more, and like I mean, from the workspace to that. So it was all like I was like really excited to come back and explore that. And playing with Kenan is like the easiest job in the world. You know what I mean? Like we already have such a dope rapport comedically and just in life. So it was, I mean, as far as like finding jokes and bonding, all of that was that was cake as a cakewalk. Excuse me, that burp, that was real. But when it came down to like doing the like the dramatic scenes, like I was really excited, man, because I like that challenge. I like performing that. Like comedy, of course, is the focus right now for me, but like when it came to like showing levels and showing depth and stuff like that, I get excited by that stuff, because if you could pull it off, it's like, oh yeah, I had that in me. If not, it's like, oh we tried, and yeah, I feel like it was a cool challenge, and it was very vulnerable, man, because we had Vanessa Calloway, who played our mom, on set with me when I was doing all like the really heavy emotional stuff, and she was like, there you go, baby. When we were cut, and I was like, this is what y'all do? I feel so naked. Like I just felt sad in front of all these people. And so I just, so my initial response to that is always to crack jokes, but it was just like to stay in it was a different experience. And it was cool, man. Like I kind of want to do it more often.
Yeah. Did you notice anything just from this being a second season? Maybe, some of the kinks might have been ironed out from the first season, or just anything different feeling about this go around?
Oh, absolutely, man. Like this go around was just, everybody knew each other. Like, well, we were always all tight, but like we were all like happy and eager to be back. There were less restrictions, so we could film in a better way, which is really fun. The story was stronger. The story was a lot stronger. They took advantage of a lot of the characters. We got to play around with a lot of different characters. Me and Fortune got to go off on adventures. It's like the different mismatches of things. The girls were so great this season. They differentiated a little bit more. So like you could tell, like the differences in the two, which was like a huge thing for me. And they let Kenan be wrong a lot, which was tight, and go through some things. And that was cool to see like his character and the challenges that he had, and not making him so straight laced, you know what I mean? So I think, from Camry to Taylor being involved more and like involving the voice more, and like Don having more silly stuff to do. It was just like it just elevated. Everything elevated for the second season. I was real happy about that.
Yeah. Well, of course, going over to SNL now. I saw there was a Vulture piece, actually. I don't know if you saw this, but they broke down everyone's screen time for this season, like all 20-something cast members.
Wow.
Apparently, you had the second most screen time of any cast member in season 47.
I did?
Yeah. Behind your friend Kenan, he was number one.
Obviously, Kenan.
Yeah. But like, did this
real?
season kind of feel like a step up in that way? I was like, wow, look at him.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, well, that is kind of crazy to think that. What, for real? I don't know. Well, I guess they would know.
I haven't checked them myself. I'm trusting in them.
Because I'm trusting the data. I have not. That's awesome. That's cool because it's never happened. Not even close any other year. This year felt like a step up for sure. Like I felt like not just screen time. I obviously didn't pay attention to that as much, but I didn't know I was doing more things. Like that was an obvious thing. I worked really hard, and I think there's a lot of things that clicked about the show that I guess wasn't clicking, but just wasn't like I just needed the time to like kind of get there. And I felt like this year I was comfortable, like I knew the job, and so I was comfortable enough to play. And I think that changed a lot in how you carry the job, because when you're in your head, it's like no matter how good of a job you're doing, you're always kind of holding back a little something. And now I used to get in my head about impressions and all that because I'm not an impressionist, but I do love character work and impressions that I can do. And I've fallen in love with like doing impressions now that I'm here and I see the love behind it and the creativity behind it and everything. So but I think the first 4 years I was just in my head about impressions, like this is not as good as the next person or this person. And I had to get to the point where the game is really just to have fun with the impression that you're doing and not really like compare it. And so this year was more of like, this is my take on this person and I'm gonna have fun with it. You know what I mean? And that in itself made me have more fun with it in general. I'm like a perfectionist, I'm a workaholic. So I need to like, you know what I mean? So I just had to get out of my head about some things. And I think year 5 is like that year. So and between that and like finding like political impressions that I really like, because damn, there was like nobody I could play besides Cory Booker. And like, Cory Booker, you're a good guy and everything. Dog, I needed somebody else. And so Eric Adams came through and it was like a blessing, dog. He just like, they just threw an impression in my lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do want to talk about that actually, like another overconfident guy, that you sort of specialize in. Just curious what the sort of features of him were that made you be like, oh, I could play this guy.
Well, let's see. He's black, he's bald, he's confident, handsome dude. Loves to just shoot off the hip, whatever. I love a character that shoots off the hip. and then don't say sorry right away. Try to find other ways not to say sorry and justify. That kind of energy, and he's like a little hood. So like that, all that energy mixed in is like that's a me soup right there. That's a Chris Red stew, if you will. You know, like it was an easy pickup. You know what I mean? Like anybody like that, or anybody like loud and aggressive like a Stephen A. That's a very like that those fit. You know what I mean? I spent 4 years trying to figure out who I could do. And then this last year, I was like, all right, I feel confident about these folks to like bring them out. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just try to do it every year outside of music, which I'm gonna try to do way more music next season. But like this season, I took a little break just to like learn the other parts of the job and do the other parts of the job a little bit more. So it was cool. It was cool. Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for you. And I mean, you did have to say goodbye to some pretty heavy hitters by the end of the season. You know, Kate, 80, Pete, and Kyle. I'm
gonna miss my dogs. My dogs.
Yeah. Can you describe just
Kyle, 80, Kate? I gotta call them out like that. Like it's raining and I'm on my knees. Yeah.
I mean, do you have any kind of favorite memories just with working with them?
Oh my God. I mean, so many. I guess I'll do one of each. Well, I mean, there's 1,000 with Pete. You know, that was the first person I got a sketch on with. I mean, we most of my career there, just in the beginning, we rode together. We wrote a lot of raps together. That's my boy right there. I'm shocked he's where he's at right now, and proud and shocked. But like more proud than anything. I think my favorite. I mean, there's so many. There's only a couple I can actually say on here.
Fair enough.
But I would say I would say one is we were working on trees, and we were on set, and we were just riffing, and he was like, "Chris, why you always wearing wigs, man?" And I was like, "I like character work, B." And it was this like very ignorant, dumbass conversation that we decided to kind of put in the sketch. Right as we were getting ready to do that scene. The scene is in the sketch now, but like we that wasn't written there. We had just kind of added that, you know, and it was like a really fun moment. That, and when we got We Babies tatted on our arms, me, Miley Cyrus, and him, and then I realized that they were really getting the tattoo, and I was just kind of there.
You were the third wheel. Yeah.
I wasn't the third wheel at the time, but then they told the story later on like Fallon or Kimmel or somewhere, and they were like, "Yeah, we got this tattoo," and I was not mentioned, and I was like, "Oh, well, fuck me then." No, I still have it. I think they got rid of theirs, but I still have mine. So it's the tale of the Wee Babies. You know what I mean? But that's my boy, and I'm really happy for him. Me and Kyle have a lot of memories too. I think one of my favorites is where I play Kobe in his sketch with Harry Styles, and I did the Kobe dance, and him showing me the Kobe dance, and us shooting that whole video. That kind of like really like set the tone for like just how much I love Kyle's work and working with him. And Kate, we have, oh man, that's my favorite woman alive. I mean, we did a video for RBG, and that was like one of my favorite moments because we hadn't done any rap videos with her before, and I really wanted to do a video with Kate. And although I had a couple of more ideas to do before she dipped out, that I didn't get to do, I was glad I got to do that one. And my very first day, Kate pulled up and was like standing in my doorway, kind of like this, and was like, "Hello, welcome to SNL." And it was like, that was like always been my favorite moment of that woman. Like, she's just a funny, like warm person, and I'm gonna really miss her a lot. 80 is that's my dog. at table read, she sits right next to me every week. And so that's like my dog. Every week we just talk every single week.
Mhm.
And oh man, I'm gonna miss her energy, the way that she the way that she says that ass. I'm gonna miss that so much. I'm gonna miss that so much, man. Like, yes, I mean, I have so many little things. I mean, that man, I'm gonna miss those four, dog. Like, I don't know what that building is without them. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gonna be a weird adjustment. I'm glad we have a summer to kind of like let it sink in. But I haven't processed a lot, Kevin, because I haven't slept. I've actually, this is the longest I've had back-to-back sleep in like 2 years. So I'm really just like, I woke up today and processing a whole lot of stuff, yo. And you brought these four up, and
here we are
after this. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, well, it's a new era for the show, I would say, moving forward. But hopefully you're part of leading that era.
Oh, I ain't going nowhere unless you got some news. I ain't got.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Yeah.
No. I think next year's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Get some new faces on there that's gonna really make it. But yeah, I think we're gonna have a good time. We'll see.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Chris. For those of you watching, subscribe for more interviews and go to goldderby.com to make your Emmy predictions. Yeah, great talking with you again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. You guys support Kevin. He's the fucking truth, all right?
Yes, and you support Chris too. Everyone out there.
Everyone out there.
Yes.